Hey guys, my name is Heather Lindsey.
And my name is Cornelius Lindsey.
And I'm so excited that you landed on Life with the Lindseys.
This is so exciting. This gives us an opportunity to share our life with yours.
Yes, we're going to be talking about everything from entrepreneurship to ministry to your purpose to why you are here, family, parenting, relationships, marriage, sex, you name it. We are talking about it.
So thank you so much for joining us today with Life with the Lindseys. Enjoy it. What up, what up, what up, what up?
Hey, everybody. My name is Heather Lindsey.
This is Cornelius
Lindsey, and we are back for another episode of
Should I say my last name?
Life with the Lindseys.
You know, it's the Life with the Lindseys. I was like Cornelius Lindsey.
I think they know, baby. We're good.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, we're talking today about breaking up and why breaking up is so important. And why we need to make sure, I mean, I guess it's not important, but you got to know like when to break up and when not to break up and when to do what you got to do and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, we're talking about healing and how to deal with a breakup.
Healing. I mean, still breaking up. Remember when we broke up? Yeah, well, you broke up with me. I broke up with you.
Because you set the stage.
Hold up.
And I knew my worth and value. And I ain't got time to be fooling with nobody that don't see my worth and value.
Nobody. But you know, none of that was factual. None of that's factual.
Okay, so let's just break it down. We had been courting for like a month. We already knew God called us to be together. We already knew like this was God, right? And I remember Cornelius kind of started ghosting me. He got really quiet. He wasn't returning my phone calls. He wasn't texting me, talking about he's so busy at work. And I'm like, first of all, you make time for what's important to you. So obviously I'm not a priority to you.
You know, when somebody hits you with that line, you know it's serious. You make time for what's important to you.
Because you flipped the script on me. It's like you are the one that made us girlfriend and boyfriend on Facebook. You're like in a relationship with Heather 2.5 seconds after we met. And I was just like uncomfortable because I was like, I don't know if this is going to work out. I felt like you talked about marriage so fast. And then all of a sudden, the beginning of March comes and you're just quiet, right?
Well, I mean, there was a reason for that. I mean, it wasn't that fast. Well, it was that fast.
It was like 2 months.
Remember, I mean, my first question to you on our first date, my first question to you was, when we get married, will you move to Atlanta because I don't want to live in New York? So, I mean, I knew that I wanted to marry you. It's just that I was afraid of the commitment because I knew we were starting to get really serious. And the pressure that came from that, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to give up like my single life. I was really content with like coming home. I had a nice house to myself, and I didn't know if I was ready like to share my bed, if I was ready like to share my French fries or to share like
that's what you really thought about.
Absolutely. Like I was like, it was getting serious. It was like, okay, I'm like in my head, I had switched over from, in my head, I wasn't thinking I'm just dating her. I'm courting her. In my head, I was thinking like, no, like this is serious. I'm about to marry this woman. Then I'm thinking like, I'm always thinking down the road. I'm thinking we're going to have kids and we got to buy a house. And I'm always thinking down the road. So it was a lot.
It was a lot. And I remember I remember coming down and we had sat out in the driveway and I was telling you like, if we're going to be together, like I need you to be this type of man. Like I need you to be more like this. You need to be more affectionate. You need to be kinder with your words. And I gave you a list and you said, well, if you're going to be my wife, you need to do this, this, and this. And I feel like we put so much pressure on each other. We did not give our relationship a chance to develop. It just didn't. We just put all these stipulations on each other. And I remember he just got really quiet. And finally I was like, yo, what is going on? Like, quit playing these games. So then you call me and you're like, I just need to think about us.
I did. I remember that.
Right. And I
did need to think about us though. I feel like I need to think about us because I wasn't sure.
Right. So I said, well, if you need to think about me, I'm going to make the decision for you because I'm not like some multiple choice option. You not sure today, you are sure tomorrow.
Lord, here we go.
Last thing I wanted, because to me, I was 26 years old. The next man I was with, I wanted to be my husband. Like, I ain't got time to be playing these games. And then I was like, man, I done started courting with this man who's 4 years younger than me. I ain't got time for these games.
For me and for other brothers and maybe some ladies out there who are listening, who kind of feel like I do right now in your relationship, it wasn't a game to me. Like I wasn't trying to play a game. Yeah. It was legit. Like, I don't know how to communicate to you that I feel inadequate.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I am going to be a good husband. Like, I don't know how to be a husband.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be a good father. Like, I felt inadequate. I did not feel like, how it's good. Like when you get a job and you kind of feel like, oh, I know I can do this.
Yeah.
But if you get a job in a position where you're like, I have never done anything like this before. Yeah. Or let's just say that your field has always been medicine, but now you get a job in a legal firm as a paralegal and you're like, hold up. I've always done medicine, but now I'm trying to work in a law firm. You feel inadequate. And I feel inadequate. Unfortunately, back then, I didn't know how to communicate.
Right.
So I didn't know how to just open up and just talk and just say, hey, this is how I feel. So when I said I got to think about it, I got to think about us, I was legit saying, I got to think about it.
Yeah.
This is hard.
And my background was I dealt with a lot of rejection. So the minute I felt like I was being rejected or overlooked or not loved, I ran. Like, I'm not about to deal with that. Like, for me, I had to protect myself because I was like, you're trying to hurt me and you're rejecting me and I'm not enough for you. Isn't
it crazy how like both of us, we both had these things going on, but neither one of us at that time really sat down to communicate what was going on. You felt rejected. I felt inadequate. But if we would have just talked it out, like hold up, like I feel rejected by this because you're saying you got to think about me, which in my opinion, I wasn't devaluing you. In my head, I was thinking you're extremely valuable. And I think I'm going to probably waste this. I'm going to waste this opportunity. Am I sure I'm ready for this?
Yeah.
And then for you like, but you rejected me. For me, I'm like, no, I see the best in you. I just see the worst in me.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really hard.
Yeah, that was really hard. And then I remember when we were on the phone, I said, this is not God's will for our life. And what did you say?
I was like, I said, I know. I was like, I know. I know this is not God's will. I know God does not want this, but I don't know what else to do. Because I mean, I ain't feel like God was helping me in that moment. So I was like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I'm done.
So I said, well, since you have to think about me, I'll go ahead and make the decision for you.
You did. You told me you're going to make this. I'm going to make the decision for you. And
I was like, you ain't got to call me back. You know what I'm saying? But then that's my guard coming up. Yeah. Protecting myself. You ain't got to call me back because I know my worth. I know my value. And that was me protecting myself. And so.
Did I ever tell you what I did that night when I hung up the phone with you?
No, what'd you do?
So I did usually what men do when we make stupid decisions. We make even dumber decisions after that. So I went and I did this crazy binge.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, baby.
I did. So I went to most of every, reputable fast food joint and I ordered like the thing from the menu. So I went into McDonald's, I got a Big Mac. I went to Burger King, I got a Whopper. I went to Taco Bell, got the Grande. I went like to KFC, I went to Popeyes, I went to all these different places, bought all these different foods. And I put it down the middle of the floor and I was watching The Office. And I was literally just eating my sorrow. I didn't know what else to do. And then after that, like I tried to put on this show in my pride. They're like, oh, I'm not hurting by her. Like, forget her. I can have anybody else I want.
I remember your Facebook post because he quickly goes on Facebook and changes his status from in a relationship with Heather to single.
It was true though.
But one of the ladies at the church said, wow, that was fast. And he said, I change women like I change underwear.
Oh, you putting that out there like that?
He did, y'all. You put me I was ready to straight fight him. So you know what I did? I reached out to one of my little, ex-boos that had been hitting me up that I was shutting down. And I went on a date that weekend because I was like, this is not what I'm doing. Like, that's how I dealt with it. For me, feeling like I was in control was getting back on the scene and dating again, right? So I went on a date and I remember that morning I had, even after my date, every morning I'd wake up to spend time with the Lord. And the Lord said, I had a list of people that I would pray for and I didn't pray for you. And he asked me, why aren't you praying for Cornelius? And I said,
you're so saved. You're so saved.
And so I was like, I'm not praying for him. Like, I pray that, God, you bless him. I forgive him, but whatever. He's like, I didn't tell you to stop praying for him. And so that was hard for me because I felt like such a urging and a tugging in my spirit to continue to pray and cover you. And to me, that showed me a little bit that, maybe God will bring us back together, but my hope was not in that. My hope was not in that. So I decided from that point on, I'm not going to go on any more dates. I went on that one date and realized I'm wasting my time because this is not what I want. I'm trying to fill my frustration and broken heart from this relationship with another person, and that's not going to work. And so I went on a, man fast. I'm just not going to date anybody. I'm just going to really stay focused on the Lord and do what he wants me to do. And I'm going to guard my heart. People were asking questions. Hey, it just didn't work out. It happens sometimes. I'm glad I found out now versus later on down the road when you're married with kids. So then fast forward about 3 weeks and we had Blackberries. Y'all remember them? We're definitely aging ourselves. We had Blackberry Messenger. BBM. So Cornelius would message me on BBM every day with one emoji. That's it. Just one emoji. But in the interim, Cornelius's mother was reaching out to me.
That was so
and
irritating.
Sister, my mother-in-law and sister Agatha were calling me. And mind you, I don't think I even met them. Maybe I met your mom. But calling me like, don't give up on him. He's making a big mistake. He's going to call you. He's going to make it right. I was like, well, he needs to grow up. Like, I was so mad. But they wanted so bad for things to work out.
My mom literally told me, she was like, you need to get back with her. And I was like, Mom, why don't you marry then? She was like, look, who are you talking to? You need to, you up here, you acting crazy and you don't know what you doing and you missing out on a good thing. My sister told me to my face, she said, Heather is going to be in our life, whether or not she's with you or not. I'm making her the godmother to your niece. And here's the crazy thing, y'all. My niece was born on my birthday. Yeah. My niece and I, we shared the same birthday. And my sister told me, she said, Heather will be in our life regardless. And I was like, why do y'all like her so much? And the whole time I loved her, but at that point, I was so prideful because I feel like I'd already made a decision. Yeah. The decision had already been made. And I didn't want to go back on my decision to like break up because I was like, yo, I guess it didn't work. And I guess I need to just move on. Yeah. But I knew I made the wrong decision. Yeah. And so he was sending me a BBM kind of every day. And then finally after 3 weeks, I was like, all right, you have my attention. Obviously you're looking for my attention. What do you want? And he sent me this message and he said, I miss you. And I said, oh, what do you miss? And I mean, that question was mad annoying. I was like, hold up. What are you talking about? What do I miss? Like, number one, obviously, if I said I miss you, I miss you. Like you ain't gotta act. You ain't gotta act. But I played the game along with you, and I was like, look, I miss the fact. I mean, I called you Sunshine. Yeah. Because I was like, you brighten. I mean, you literally came into my life and you brightened up my life. Yeah. I mean, you introduced me to things like sunlight in the morning. After we got married, you introduced me to sunlight in the morning. You introduced
just like a happy perspective about life.
Yeah, because I'm not really a pessimist. I'm more of a realist. Yeah, I'm like Thomas. I'm a realist. It's like, Jesus, show me your hand. Yeah, like let me see if it's really you. I'm more of a realist. I'm not really
which is interesting because I'm such a feeler and prophetic. And I'm like, babe, what do you think about this?
That's not me at all. But nevertheless, I knew that I needed to make it right. Because here's the thing, there weren't big red flags that said, hey, we don't need to do this. And we both felt peace about it. Now, for those individuals who are out there and you're listening and you're like, man, this is how I feel in this very moment. And I feel like I need to just cut this thing out. I think it's important that, here in a few we talk about what those red flags look like. I think it'd be good if we talk about them right now. What do you think? Yeah. Babe, I was so excited when I saw that HelloFresh box at the door the other day.
Yes, it's so great for wives because I'm like, here, look at the picture. Tell me what you want to eat for dinner tonight. And it's good because the food is delicious. You save time. It's sustainable and it's flexible. It's great for people like me that don't eat meat and people like you that do eat meat.
One thing I love about it is that you can easily change your delivery days, change your food preferences. You can even skip a week, if you need to. The great thing also is that HelloFresh is now from $5.66 per serving.
Come on, what a way just to save money. And I love it. I believe it's America's #1 meal kit. I've tried a lot and it's been the best for me so far.
Hey, this is the best meal for your moolah. You need to go right now to HelloFresh.com/LWL10 and use code LWL10. Again, go to HelloFresh.com/LWL10. Use code LWL10 for HelloFresh's New Year's sale for 10 free meals plus free shipping.
Come on now. All right, guys. So now we're going to talk about those red flags. Now, I think you don't look at our story and say, well, all right, me and my man or me and my woman are going to get back together because the Lindseys did. I believe that God ordained us to be together, and our deal breakers, we were on the same page as far as like, okay, we want to make sure this person's saved. My husband, my then boyfriend, was saved, loves Jesus, serves in his local church. I had deal breakers. And the first one should always be that you should not be unequally yoked with the unbeliever. So if you're breaking off things with a guy or a girl and they're not saved, then that's biblical. That's a good thing. So I believe the first thing is that first red flag is that they're not a believer and you want them to be, and you're trying to change them and you're trying to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, it's Deuteronomy 22:10.
Yeah.
It says, don't yoke together a donkey and an ox. And, biblically, an ox is referred to as a clean beast, clean, submissive beast. The donkey, it is very symbolic of an unclean and very rebellious beast. So here's the thing. The reason why the Bible says don't put them together, don't yoke them together and then try to plow the field together is because in the first month, they may both cooperate together.
Yeah.
But the problem is that at some point, the ox is going to want to keep going. The ox is going to want to keep fulfilling the vision. The ox is going to want to follow God. The ox is going to want to go to church. The ox is going to want to get it right. The ox is going to want to make it right. But at some point, the donkey is going to say, I don't want to go anymore. Yeah. And when a donkey gets stubborn, it just stops. And now being married, we see far too many marriages where they were like, oh, don't worry. I know my potential spouse is a donkey, but I'm going to marry him anyway. And unfortunately, we see far too many marriages now. We got a lot of oxen who are dragging donkeys through life. And you trying to figure out, I can't get them to go to church. I can't get them to do this. I can't get them to work. I can't, like you married in this expectation they were just going to get clean. Yeah. When God didn't even tell you to do that. He says, look at the patterns. The patterns show you they don't work. This is a donkey. And when the donkey gets stubborn, the donkey ain't going to want to move anymore. You got to be equally yoked.
Yeah, I agree. That's good. I remember a long time ago, the Lord showed me that we don't have a shortage of good men. We have a shortage of impatient women. What happens is I feel like women get impatient. So they're like, God's taken too long. I'm going to take things in my own hands. Like Song of Solomon says, don't awaken love before it's time. And I feel like sometimes we try to awaken love because we want so bad to feel loved, because maybe we're dealing with father issues. Maybe we're dealing with rejection, abandonment. I know that because I kept a man. As soon as we broke up, I had to reach out and plan a date.
Look at you.
I know, right?
All right. Well, you got that phone book.
There you go.
Okay.
But that's how I went to go seek to fill my voids. And the thing is, I knew good and well that God told me not to be in that relationship with that guy. Why was I reaching out to him? I wanted to feel in control. And I feel like women, we feel like at times we can change that man. We can get him saved. We can get him to be a good father. We look on social media and, back in the day, think about our parents' generation. When they had an issue with their neighbor, they had to look at their brand new car every now and then. But now it's at your fingertips. So now you get to see everybody's happy family. You get to see everybody's, full family, and you're frustrated in your own life. Mm-hmm. So then you start rushing ahead of God and your standards begin to get lower and lower and lower. Yeah. And you wonder, like, God, where's my good man? But it's like, you're impatient. Will you rest in this season and really work on getting healed? And then at the right time, God will bring the right person.
And then the other part of that is, it's almost like we don't have a shortage of good men. We have a shortage of godly standards. Yeah. And just people we think it's going to be fine if we throw a couple godly standards on a very worldly relationship. Yeah. And we think that somehow God's going to be like, oh, well, you got 3 out of the 4, you're good. It's like at some point you got to ask yourself, what kind of marriage do I want? And your courtship is helping to shape the marriage. You're able to see what the patterns are. You're able to see what it is I'm going to be working with before I get married. Now, some people do get married and they get surprised. They're like, oh, this is a big surprise. I didn't know this. I didn't expect this. But even then it's like, well, at some point you can kind of pick up on the patterns. You saw some things, may not have been that blatant about that, but unfortunately when a donkey is a certain way, the donkey's going to go that way. But it's funny that God, he introduces, I think it's 3 main concepts into the marriage between Christ and the church that are so important to every marriage and every relationship. That's love, grace, and mercy. Because he knew at some point, one of the 2 of y'all gonna be crazy. Yeah. And he's like, one of y'all gonna need to love, one of y'all gonna be graceful, and one of y'all gonna need to be merciful. Both of y'all, but at this point, one of you maybe. So it's like, you have to make sure that you are equally yoked, and you know without a shadow of a doubt, okay, you're an ox, I'm seeing some fruit and I'm seeing you walk in that fruit.
Yeah.
What do you think the second one is? A good red flag. You say, you know what? This is a big red flag. And if we can't get past this because you're not working with me.
I would say cheating and lying.
Mm-hmm.
Those would kind of go together. Like if he's cheating and lying and constantly coming back, repetitive. I'm not saying that, you should take it back after he cheats on you or lies to you or whatever the case is. But what I'm saying is you're going to have bigger fish to fry once you get married. And I remember this one girl messaged me and said, I found out my husband lied to me and we're only a couple days into our marriage and I want to annul my marriage. And I'm like, girl, there's a lot bigger issues that you have to deal with later on in marriage. So you have to look at the patterns early on. If he's constantly cheating, constantly lying, constantly hiding his phone, sneaking around, creeping around, he's not going to all of a sudden change when he gets married to you. And I think sometimes as Christians, we're like, oh, but he's a Christian. No, but if he's showing the fruit that he belongs to somebody else, just because you sit in a car or the garage doesn't make you a car. Mm-hmm. You need to see some fruit on that tree. If you are seeing those behaviors over and over again, I feel like we shouldn't settle with that. You know what I mean? Because think about when you get married. Trust is so important in marriage. Yeah. And if that trust is broken and that's supposed to be the priest of your household, you won't want to submit to him. You won't believe in him. You won't trust him. You won't believe that he's, got your family's best interest in that. So your foundation, I feel like, is going to be rough early on.
That's a big red flag. I think a bigger one that is just right along with that is work ethic. Yeah. Because the Bible is very clear. What is it? 2 Thessalonians? Yeah. Says a man that don't work,
don't eat.
Relationship requires reciprocity. That means that, when you get married, you want sex, you need to work, you need to, it's just certain things that we need to know. We need to make sure we're practicing and having a good work ethic. And I think the bigger thing is being disciplined. Yeah. Knowing, okay, does this person really show fruit of discipline? Yeah. You can't tell me that you're going to be this big time entrepreneur and you won't even get out of the bed to go to work. You can't tell me you're going to do all these things and you playing video games all day long and you scrolling through social media all day long trying to look at somebody else's life. What does your work ethic look like? Yeah. Because if that person's sorry now, they're sorry as an employee, they're going to probably be a sorry parent. I don't want to play with the kids. I don't want to be with the kids. It'll be a sorry parent. It'll be a sorry spouse. And it just keeps going. It's perpetual. Discipline always bleeds over into other areas. Yeah, when somebody tells me I don't feel disciplined spiritually, then more than likely that means that they lack discipline physically, they lack discipline mentally, they lack discipline emotionally. And so those things have to be dealt with. Having a good work ethic, I think the being unequally yoked, the lying and the cheating, and then that good work ethic. It's you need to make sure you're looking at that person and saying you work hard. And here's the other side of that too. I don't want to forget making sure this person is not caught up just in work. Yeah. I think we can, I would love for you to kind of speak on that, how you can look at somebody's patterns and be like, hold up. I know you work hard, but I feel like you're married to your career. Yeah. And that now that you're married to your career, you won't be married to me. Yeah, that's a big one. And I'll be honest, I was a little nervous about that with you because you work so much. What? I did. I was so nervous about that because you are so, I felt like married to your job. You know what I mean? And you were very committed to it. And then when the Lord was showing you that you're pulling away from it, then I was like, all right, we're good. But you were very committed to your job and to working. But that also was a bonus to me because I was like, all right, he's not going to sit around and be lazy. Oh, no, he's going to be obedient. I can't be broke. I won't be broke. I'm on work. I'm on work. Right. No, I got to go flip me a hamburger and throw me some fries. Yeah. I'm going to own that restaurant by the end of the year. I'm on work. No, I agree. But I was a little nervous about that. And I mean, I struggled with that at the beginning of our marriage, working too much to the point where you told me I was married to my organization, Pinky Promise. I remember that. And you were like, you spend so much time on that and you're not spending time with me. And so we had to adjust and change. But I believe that communication is key. I know some people that even are married now where they're struggling because the husband works all the time and he never comes home to see the family and raise the family and be a part of the family. So I think that we have to talk about that before I do, for sure, to get on the same page of what our expectations are. Yeah. Now, I really want to talk about how to deal with a breakup. Think about it, babe. We know the red flags. Okay, we've talked about some, but let's talk about how to deal with it practically for somebody that maybe feels like they're struggling with it right now. I think the first thing I want to talk about is you should probably, if you know it's not God, right? Yeah.
then you should probably block their number and block them on social media.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So in going along with that, I like to tell people this, the way that you kill a fire,
Yeah.
is you have to stop feeding it.
Yeah.
Like in order for you to kill a fire, you're not throwing water on it. If you throw gasoline on it, it's going to grow.
Yeah.
If you want to kill a fire, you literally have to cut off its supply of oxygen.
Yeah.
If you don't, then it's going to continue burning.
Yeah.
So you have to cut off the supply of oxygen. So it's like, if you keep running back to the pictures, you keep running back to the communication,
social media, all that.
A lot of times we're not missing what we think we're missing.
Yeah.
It's like, people say, I feel like I miss that person.
Yeah.
No, you don't miss that person. You miss what you used to get from that person.
Yeah.
And what you failed to do is the next thing, I believe, in going on a blocking spree is, now that you know what you miss, is to replace what you miss with the right thing.
Yeah, I agree. I remember when I broke up with one of my exes, immediately I had to remove them from everything social media and stuff, because I knew they would look for a door to reach out to me. And he happened to be very emotional. So I knew that he was going to try to emotionally manipulate me back into the relationship, but I knew it wasn't God. So I knew I needed to guard my heart. The Bible tells us to guard our heart because out of it flows the issues of life. So I had to guard my heart completely, block him off from everything in life. And then I realized there was a hole that was open. My Friday night, so we used to go on dates and all that stuff. It's just, now I'm sitting in silence in my bedroom. So then I realized, I'm going to immerse myself in the word. I remember playing the Bible 24/7, even I was sleeping, listening to sermons nonstop, listening to worship music. I wasn't playing. I was worn in the spirit, baby. Yeah, I was fighting back. On the train as I'd go into New York City, because I lived out there, I have note cards and I'd meditate on scriptures. And for me, I had to fight back because that void was so deep in my heart that needed to be replaced. That stronghold, that soul tie, all those relationships, that stronghold was real. So I knew if I wasn't going to fight back, the enemy was going to bring back 7 demons as evil as the one that I casted out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what are you filling it up with? So for me, I started spending more time with my girlfriends. We would have sleepovers and we would watch like sermons on VHS. I've always been super saved, baby. I've always been super saved.
I mean, hey, look.
So
you my super saved queen. I ain't got no problem with it.
So we listen to sermons on VHS. I'd create like gift bags for the girls. I'd make smoothies. We'd order pizza and we'd have like a girl night and we'd have like a clothing swap. So I started spending more time with my girlfriends. I started finding more families at our church that needed like a date night, and I would babysit their kids and I'd help out. Like I'd find a single mom that just needed some help and I would go and help her out. I just got busy. Although I worked, I had a 9-to-5 and I think I was still in school. Any free time I had, it was spending time with the Lord and serving other people. Because I said, I'm single. I'm free from the distractions that Paul talks about, being pulled by family. Mm-hmm. And at night when I was tired and I didn't feel like cooking dinner, I just drank a smoothie and I went to bed. And I just began to enjoy my single life. Yeah. I was like, I'm tired of attracting the wrong man over and over again. I need to do something different in this season. Like there's got to be something different about me. And I need to make sure that, the seat next to me is empty. Because how can God replace and bring a new person into your life when there's Tommy, Jimmy, and everybody else sitting in that seat? Yeah.
I remember when I finally, told the last girl, I don't want you to cook for me anymore. That was tough.
It was tough.
That was tough.
Tell me how tough it was.
I mean, that was years ago and she could cook. Not like you can, but shut up, Cornelius. Anyways, I remember that last time I was like, this is the right thing to do. And I cut it off. And I was like, I think I did what I think a lot of guys do. A lot of guys I know do. And that's just like, you get to a point where I threw myself into more work.
Yeah.
And that's where I just became committed to my job. I became committed to work. And then I became committed to the gym. So I woke up early. I had a routine. I'm a creature of habit. I woke up. I was up at 5:30 in the morning. I would pray for 30 minutes. I went to the gym. I worked out from 5:30 until time for work. I went and got a shower, went to work. I worked all day until 6 or 7 o'clock at night, went home, made me a Tostino's pizza in the oven, made me like 2 of them, like wrapped that sucker up, ate them. And, I was in the bed. So I threw myself into work. I threw myself into the gym, which I don't believe are the healthiest of habits, but I threw myself into that stuff so that almost like I was trying to work so hard that I wouldn't have any free time. And then the only good thing I think I got out of it was I developed some great habits. And I was doing some young guys I started mentoring at the time. I just needed to find something else to do because honestly, it almost had turned into a game for me. And I was like, I don't know how to not play this game anymore. I feel like I just keep doing the same thing over and over again, and trying to find replacements was really tough. I think that there's one big thing that I think I really want to tackle. I think it's very important, especially when you're dealing with a breakup. I really want to tackle this thing and kind of just hit it head on,
All right, babe, I'm a stalker.
Yes.
When it comes to like research and making sure my family is not eating synthetic vitamins and unhealthy things. And when I came across Ritual, I was blown away. I was like, is it really possible that there's a multivitamin that does not hurt my stomach, that is all natural, vegan, sugar-free, non-GMO, gluten-free, and all that other good stuff? And it is.
Yeah, and you eat all kind of kale salads. You drink green smoothies like it's water. But if you do all those things, you still don't get the most vitamins that you need. So I'm very glad that you have Ritual.
I know, me too. And I love that it's subscription based. So I don't have to think about reordering. I just look up and it's back again.
Exactly. Better health doesn't happen overnight. And right now, Ritual is offering all of our listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. You can fill in all the gaps in your diet with the Essential for Women. Visit ritual.com/LWL to start your ritual today. That's 10% off your first 3 months at ritual.com/LWL.
Yes.
Hey, so we're back, and I want to tackle this. I think, and I want to know how you feel about this.
Yeah.
I feel like, in every breakup I've had, what was difficult was when I knew I needed to break up.
Yeah.
I knew I needed to end this.
Yeah.
But I continued to go because I felt comfortable in it.
Yeah.
And it was the one thing that I finally have learned over all these years, I've gotten wiser and gotten older, is that when you finally get tired of being sick and tired, and I'm gonna make a decision, and I'm gonna make a decision, and I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna finally cut this thing. I mean, what do you think about has there ever been a time in your life you're like, okay, Heather, wake up.
Yeah.
Make a decision.
Yeah.
Are you tired? Like, stop complaining about it.
Yeah.
Are you tired of being sick and tired?
Yeah, I remember I was breaking up with one guy and I said, I want to just be friends. But I felt like if I said anything else, he would freak out. So I said, I just want to be friends because I was sick and tired of being disobedient to God. I knew the Lord was telling me to break it off, but I couldn't break it off because we'd been together for a couple of years. I didn't feel like meeting somebody's family all over again, going through that whole process. I didn't want to deal with that. It's like I was almost more willing to be comfortable versus obedient to the Lord. And I remember the Lord, just asking the Lord for the next step of instructions of what he wants me to do. Because it seemed like my life was falling apart. I lost my job, all these things were happening. And I felt like the Lord was trying to get my attention to say, you're being disobedient. I have a path that I want you to go on, but you're veering off this path. And God the enemy will use a relationship to distract you off that path real quick.
Oh yeah.
So I realized I have to lay this down. It's got to be done. And I need to be finished for real, for good.
Some people even believe that some people feel like, failure in many ways is the only way that God gets your attention. But I think that oftentimes God gets our attention through success.
Yeah.
Because especially when we feel like our success is made by our own hands and now it becomes prideful. Because, in our world, in our Christian world, we look and we say, well, I got a lot of fruit. So obviously, I must be doing all right because I'm still progressing in all these different areas. But God's like, hey, hold up now. Like you need to hold up, Church of Laodicea. Like, okay, you're rich, but you don't have anything. Like you think you can see, but you're blind. Like you think you're winning, but you're actually losing. And everything you're building now is going to embarrass you later. Yeah. You don't realize it. And you need to get your act together. So it's like when you finally get to that place in your life where you say, I'm going to make a decision because I am tired of being sick and tired. I'm tired of always telling my friends that, I don't know if I should still be with this person. Or I'm tired of always talking about this, talking about the issues and stuff like that. When you finally get to that point, you're like, this is not God's best.
Yeah.
I just know it's not. Like, it's not God's best. And quit lying to yourself.
Exactly.
Stop.
And you got to free yourself. If you guys have broken up, then okay, the hard part is over. Yes, the wound is fresh and it's hard right now, but it's not going to be hard always. When you look up and you're looking down the road and you're married to God's best and you're looking at your children and you're just going to think, thank God I let go of my type. And that's what I want to talk about now. Your type. Where did you get your type from?
Ooh, that type.
You know what I'm saying?
That type is tough.
It's tough because I feel like we grow up with this image of what we think we want in a person. We get saved, give our life to Jesus, but we have dragged our old mindset into the kingdom of God. And in Romans 12, it says, don't be conformed by this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And it's so important that we're renewing our mind with God's word. So Romans 12:1 tells us that we must be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And I feel like we take our old way of thinking from the world before Jesus and we drag it into our Christian walk. And then we're like, all right, I need this man to be 6'7". He needs to make six figures. He needs to have passion and drive. We make this laundry list. He need to be debt free, but you are drowning in debt. You create this whole list of all these unrealistic expectations of what you want in a guy. And what happens is you start measuring all these guys and then you get frustrated because you're just like, I can't meet anybody that's on my list. I can't meet anybody. And something that I've learned is I had to give my type to the Lord because my husband was not my type.
I ain't got no type.
Baby, what does that mean?
Nothing. Jesus. What were you saying?
It's either from The Office or is it a rap lyric? Which one is it?
Oh, Jesus.
It's probably a rap.
Put me on the spot right now.
Anyway.
But yeah, I wasn't your type. And the crazy thing is you weren't my type.
Yeah.
Like you were, you did hit two things on the list. Sassy and classy. Those were two things that were on the list. Like there was like on the top of the list, sassy and classy. I just wanted sassy and classy. But like we have this idea that we meet somebody, we want our type.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is that oftentimes God pairs two opposites together.
100%.
And God does this thing. It just seems like opposites are better together.
Yeah.
You don't think so, but I know I couldn't have married anybody like me. I married somebody like me.
I'd be in jail.
We would already been in jail. We'd have been in jail. We wouldn't have no kids. It just wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
So it's like, I even think about like traveling. Like we talked about traveling in our last podcast. Like if it was my wife was just like I was, number one, we probably would never go anywhere because we just probably just try to save the money and not go anywhere.
Yeah.
Or if we did, we would just stay in the room. We'd never book anything.
Yeah.
With you want me to go see rainforests and go touch on toucans and ride on birds and go underwater to look at sea turtles and mess and sharks.
Fun. That was fun.
Yeah. But you helped me to create memories.
Yeah.
Memories that for me, I would never go to Hawaii and try to, go up a volcano.
Yeah.
But with you helped me to create memories. Yeah. It's something about when you come together and when you finally submit your list to God.
That's good.
And you say, okay, God, it's no longer I who live, but it's now you who live in me. It is no longer I'm not dictating my own life. You now have the power to dictate this for me. And with that being said, like, God, I desire to be in a relationship. You know my desire to be in a relationship. So I got a desire to be in a relationship. Then like, I want to find somebody who I can really be compatible with. But and here's the crazy thing. We date all these people because we think we know what we like.
Right. What a waste of time.
And we don't even realize like you failed like 20 times.
Right.
Because obviously if you knew what you like, then you would have already picked it. You don't know what you want. And here's the better thing. It's not even that you don't know what you want. You don't know what you need.
Come on.
Because God sees you in your private. And he's like, you either grow in your patience. So your spouse is going to work your patience.
Right.
Because it's going to make you better for God.
Yeah.
Not better for yourself. So that's my spill. No,
that's good. My husband wasn't my type in some ways.
You say that so happily. How was I not your type? What was it about Mwa?
Okay. You were very strong. And
did you want, a wimp?
Well, actually, most of the guys I dated before, I'm not saying they were wimpy because they weren't all wimpy, but they weren't as strong as you were. Like you were crazy strong. And I don't know, I admired that. Like no one had ever shut me down, ever. And I know my friends didn't like that about you. They're like, I don't like that he just shuts it all down. But to me, I wanted a leader. Like I wanted a man that had vision, that knew where he was going and knew what he wanted. And because I have a strong personality, I knew God had a strong calling on my life. And whoever I married, he would have to be able to stand up to this world in such a powerful way. And it's just, there was something so different and unique about you. It's like when you walked into a room, like you commanded the presence of the room without saying anything. Like you were so strong. And it's something I admired so much about you and respected about you even before I even met you, because obviously we walked by each other for 3 years straight. So I respected you in those 3 years and I didn't even really talk to you, but besides high and by. So I was just used to dating this certain type of guy. And I just was not expecting for it to be you. And then you were 4 years younger than me. I was not expecting that whatsoever.
I was actually looking for an older woman.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted an older woman. I always wanted an older woman.
Well, look at God.
Look at him. I wanted the cougar. Meow.
I had to lay down my type. And I look back and I'm like, wow, if I would have stuck to the guys I was dating before you, like I would have completely missed out on what God's doing in our life, our children. I mean, you're the one that gave me the mic and was like, the Holy Spirit will teach you to preach. You know what I mean? Like he'll teach you all things. And you've challenged me and challenged the crap. Like you never let me stay the same. Yeah. And anybody else kind of just let me go throughout life and whatever. And I could manipulate them with my emotions and my feelings. You called out all of my mess. And that is what I needed in a person, because when God chooses your spouse for you and reveals that person to you, it's not only for where you are, but where you're going. Mm-hmm. And I feel like sometimes we choose a spouse for right now and how we see ourselves in our dysfunction. Mm-hmm. But God is like, no, I have somebody that's going to grow with you for the next 50 years. So will you take your list and lay it down before the Lord and say, God, these are my desires. This is what I think I want, but you know what I want and you know what I need. So I'm going to make a decision to trust you.
And along with that, I was, while you were talking, I was thinking about all the people who have broken up with people because it was hard because they were being forced to see who they really were.
Come on.
That person who you were with was showing you yourself and you didn't like it.
Even in marriage.
Like you're right now on the verge because you're saying you want to get a divorce, not because there is infidelity, not because there's even any type of biblical reasoning to tell you to do it. You are doing it because your spouse is showing you and you don't like it. Yeah. You like being who you are. You like doing what you've always done. You don't want to change. And the fact that your spouse is exposing you to you, intimidates you, it hurts you, and it angers you. And you don't know what gives that person the right to try to change you. And I'm telling you, for those people who I'm talking to in this, like you really need to know that the breakup is not due because God desires for you to break up. Yeah. God is not concerned about our comfort. God wants our growth. As a father, I'm glad my kids are comfortable. But more than being comfortable, I want them to mature, because there are some things as a father and you as a mother, we can't help our kids with. Yeah. Like it's sometimes my daughter's crying. I'm like, you can figure it out. Put your shirt on. Stop crying. Stop whining. Put your shirt on. Yeah. Like you ain't got to cry because you don't have help. One day it may come where you don't have anybody to help you. Yeah. But you can't cry through life. Life is difficult. It's hard. Yeah. Like with my son, like I can't reach it. Figure it out. Like, figure it out. You get a chair. I'm not going to come get it for you. Just I'm taller doesn't mean I can get it. I think
you're so good about that.
But God does that with us. God's like, look, stop crying. Like, look, figure it out. Right. You don't need a blessing right now. What you need is some wisdom. You need to do what you already know to do. You don't want to do it. You want somebody to hold your hand, and your spouse or your mate is showing you, and you don't like it. Preach. And you're mad. And I'm breaking up because I just, I feel like that person is. And here's the thing what we do. We do it a lot. We try to come up with evidence that tries to prove why this person does what they do. And then we try to badmouth that person and make them so bad to everybody else. We try to build a big case against them when in actuality, the problem is and has always been you. You can get in a whole new marriage. You can get in a whole new relationship. And guess what, honey? You're going to still show up. And the same problem is going to still be there. It's just, you got to get over this thing about you think that everything should go the way you want it to, because it just doesn't work that way in life.
It's interesting. As you were talking, I wrote in my notes, the same you is going to be in the next relationship because you are the common denominator. I don't know why we think that if I jump from this relationship to the next relationship, you on your 5th marriage, right? And it's everybody else. It's not everybody else. It's like, you've got to take a look on the inside of you and say, all right, let me deal with the conflict that I have, my childhood trauma, the conflict I have in my heart. What is going on in my life? What strongholds do I have in my life? What areas do I need to let go of? What things do I need to renounce over my life that have been controlling my relationships? And I think it's important that we get honest with ourselves. Maybe you need to go see a therapist. If you keep breaking up with everybody, you keep running from every relationship. Like, I remember there's this guy I dated, and we started to get close. 6 months in, he broke it off. And because he was like, I'm afraid of commitment. I've been hurt by people. I'm afraid of commitment. If that's the issue, then that's not going to go away.
Yeah.
You're going to grow older and be 50 years old and be single and be mad. But you've been running away from people that God have been sending you along the way because you're afraid of commitment, because your mom hurt you or because somebody hurt you in middle school.
Yep.
We have to deal with that trauma that's on the inside of us in order to be healed moving forward.
And that's the crazy, because people are dealing with old issues and dealing with old things. And here's the thing, guys, we're getting older and we're running out of excuses. You're running out of excuses. It's like it shouldn't take 3 marriages to finally get it right. At some point, you have to identify where the issue lies, and it can't be in the last 5 people you were with.
Right.
If you were the common denominator, even if you say, well, but I just feel like I was picking the wrong people. That's still you choosing the wrong person. It's like, at some point you have to take responsibility. And if you're going to break up with something, why don't you break up with your own toxic behavior? Why don't you break up with the idea that everybody else is the problem? Instead of us always turning the mirror to somebody else, why don't we look at ourselves? I'll never forget one of my first therapy sessions. The therapist, he looked at me, and I'm just talking about all these different things, all these issues, and why I don't feel like this is working, that ain't working, all this kind of stuff, and why I feel like this person ain't doing this, and this person ain't doing that, and this person. And I was going through the list of why I feel like all these people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. He looked at me in my face. He said, "So what are you doing?" And I was like, "Hold up, pimp. I'm not paying you. I'm not paying you to tell me what I'm doing wrong. I'm paying you to tell me. I thought I was paying him to tell me." To agree with me about what I thought I was doing right or what they was doing wrong. Yeah. And he was like, "So what are you doing?" And he said, "Cornelius, I want to spend some time talking about you." I was like, "Oh, but why are you talking about me? Like, I want to talk about my wife. I want to talk about my kids.
Perfect.
I want to talk about my employees." Ooh, that's a whole nother podcast. Like, I want to talk about my kids. I want to talk about my employees. I want to talk about things that irritate me.
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, we had to deal with you. And I'm going to tell you why you act that way. I want to tell you why you do this." He said, "Why don't you trust people?" And I was like, DTA, don't trust anybody. You don't trust nobody in this world. Everybody's out for their own. You don't trust nobody. DTA for life. And he's like, this is toxic.
Yeah.
That's toxic.
Yeah.
He's like, that's not even biblical. That's not biblical. And he goes through all these things. He starts breaking things down. The whole time I felt like, some of you who are listening to this, you ever felt that resistance on the inside of you? Like, I hear what you're saying. Like, you speaking to me, but I ain't trying to receive it.
Yeah. And
I sat there on that couch, and I was like, you know what? Hold up. I need to let my guard down. I got to let my guard down, because he's speaking some truth right now, and I'm trying my best not to hear it. So
that's good. No, that's good. I love that. It's so important that we take and we stand in the mirror and we're honest with ourselves. And something that I used to do is I would go to the mirror and I would just begin to declare who I was, but also renounce a whole lot of things a whole lot of lies that have been spoken over me. And I know we're kind of running out of time, but we should talk about what our next episode should be. And I was thinking it should be church hurt. What do you think?
Lord Jesus.
What do you think?
Oh man, y'all want to hear about church hurt?
No, it's real, because people are leaving church because of the people. And it's like, the people aren't the ones that saved you.
Yeah,
Jesus
people
was.
I mean, people come up to me, they be like, "Oh, I'm like, well, why don't you go to church anymore?" They're like, "Oh, I got hurt at church." How you got hurt at Walmart? You still go?
Come on.
Like, you still go to
all
Walmart?
Up in Walmart, in Target.
I mean, hey, I fell at Chick-fil-A. But I still go back to Chick-fil-A, because Chick-fil-A is blessed. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you still got to do what you got to do. So it's to, I get it, but at the same time, you got to do what you got to do. But
And in closing, anybody that's dealing with, breakups, we just pray for healing right now in Jesus' name. And we just pray that you will stay focused on the path that God wants you to be on, and that you won't get distracted by different things that are trying to pull you along the way.
Yeah.
And we love you guys so much. Thank you for subscribing. Make sure you tell your friends to subscribe and check us out every Friday.
Yeah, I know. And if you follow us on social media, which I encourage you to do, I am This Is Cornelius on Instagram and Twitter. My wife is Heather L. Love. Again, it's Heather L. Love. This is Cornelius. You can also go to heatherllindsey.com. You can also go to corneliuslindsey.com. And we got some great things coming up. I don't even know if you guys know, but we have a wellness retreat that we're going on to Israel. I'm going to be baptizing people in the Jordan. So if y'all want me to come dip you low, I got you. And we're going to be doing that in Israel in April.
Yes.
And then in November, we're going to be in Morocco for a marriage retreat. You can check all that stuff out on our IGs, our socials, all on our websites. But come out, come kick it with us. We love to have you, love to be around you. All those great things.
Also, babe, the Pinky Promise Conference.
Oh, that's going to be so amazing this year.
You guys, it's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, July 30th through August 2nd. You guys do not want to miss it. It is life-changing. It's hard to explain. You kind of just have to be there, but I would love to have you. Go to pinkypromiseconference.com. And if you listen to this episode, tag us on social media. We'd love to know your thoughts on it.
Yeah, make sure if you tag us, make sure you tag Life with the Lindseys, Life with the Lindseys. Again, we love you guys. Please make sure you subscribe. Tell your mama, uncle, everybody. To everybody get in with Life with the Lindseys. We love you guys. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.